If you're still relying on YouTube AdSense, this might change how you look at your revenue model entirely. And if you're already selling products or have your own podcast, there's something here that could amplify distribution and garner you an audience full of high intent buyers. 2 years ago, I was managing a top 10 health podcast in the UK, but back then, podcasts barely made money. Today, I've had to 75 YouTube channels turn their existing YouTube catalog into revenue producing podcasts. Over 12 million collective downloads, $350,000 in additional revenue, and the infrastructure that makes this possible, most creators don't even know it exists. So let me walk you through exactly what changed. Majority of YouTubers think that their problem is views, but that's not the problem. The problem is distribution dependency. You're on one platform, one algorithm, one revenue stream. YouTube takes 45% cut of your revenue. Policy changes lead to CPM drops overnight, and brand deals take 6 months to pay. It's a fragile system disguised as success. Now maybe you're distributing to platforms like TikTok and Instagram, but those are entertainment platforms built for scrolling and dopamine hits. In reality, there are only 3 platforms where people go out to learn something intentionally. Number 1, YouTube. Number 2, Apple Podcasts. And number 3, Spotify. Specifically, the podcasting tab. Platforms where people go to solve problems, make decisions, and buy something intentionally. And if you're only on one, you're losing half of your potential audience. If you already built your own products, courses, coaching, consulting, or even physical products, you're ahead of the curve. You're not dependent on AdSense. But are you reaching everyone who wants to buy? Every creator we have helped launch on Spotify has seen majority of their audience come from people that have never discovered them on YouTube. This is new audience for them from the same content. So why is Spotify making this $2 billion bet? Well, Spotify isn't a music company anymore, it's a content monopoly. Podcast ad revenue just crossed $2 billion in the US and is projected to hit $6 billion by 2027. Spotify has just shy of 490 million users, out of which 135 million are active podcast listeners. But here's what makes those listeners different. On YouTube, people browse, the algorithm feeds them content, but on podcasts, they choose. They search for your topic, they subscribe to your show, they listen to you while commuting, working out, cooking. That's not mindless consumption, that's intentional learning. They search for your topic, subscribe to your show, and listen to you while commuting, working out, or even cooking. That's not passive scrolling, that's intentional learning. Video plus audio equals habit plus trust. YouTube builds discovery while Spotify builds loyalty, and loyalty is what sells your products. Now, I know what you're thinking. Podcasts don't make money. Now, 3 years ago, you would have been right. You would have been spot on. 3 years ago, I was managing a top 10 health podcast in UK. Tens of thousands of downloads per episode, hundreds of thousands of followers. But apart from selling our own products, there was no straightforward way to monetize it. No programmatic ads, no dynamic insertion, just static post-read ads. But after building this for more than 75 YouTube channels, the infrastructure now exists. Number 1, Spotify's programmatic ad network. Like AdSense, ad monetized from day 1. Number 2, dynamic ad insertion. Here's the game changer. Instead of baking your ad into your episode permanently, you dynamically insert your sponsored ad into your entire episode catalog. Every new download generates impressions. Past episode, future episodes, or even the episode from 2 years ago, still generating revenue. Number 3, native subscriber content. Apple Podcasts and Spotify support paid subscription content on their platform natively. That means you don't have to set up a Patreon or on any other external platform. Number 4, geo-targeted sponsor rates. With dynamic insertion, you target a specific sponsor's impressions to be downloaded by listeners in a specific geographic region. This gives you access to premium sponsors with CPMs ranging from $18 to $25. That was 2022, this is 2025. I've helped over 75 YouTube channels launch on podcasting platforms. Let me show you one. This AI news and education channel we launched 10 months ago has generated over $72,000 in additional revenue. This is purely from ad revenue. This doesn't account for the revenue generated from product sales. No special content for podcasting platforms, no new videos, no extra work, just better distribution. If you're selling a digital product, consulting offers, or even physical products, podcast listeners have higher buyer intent. They're spending an hour with you in their ear. That's not passive consumption, that's trust building time for you. But maybe you're ahead of the curve. You've already launched a podcast, but now it's not growing. You're publishing, your audio quality is fine, but downloads are still flat. Most creators launch podcasts like they launch videos. different platform, different rules. Here are 3 reasons your podcast isn't growing. Number 1, SEO isn't optimized. Titles, descriptions, data-driven keywords, or even your artwork works differently on Apple Podcasts and Spotify than it does on YouTube. Most creators copy-paste the YouTube titles. Wonder why no one finds them. Number 2, you're not using video. Spotify now supports video podcasts, but most upload audio only. Video podcasts get 2 to 3 times more engagement than audio only podcasts. You already have the video, you're just not using it. Number 3, you skipped the launch strategy. Going from 0 to 1 is the hardest part when it comes to podcasting, but YouTubers have an unfair advantage. They have an existing audience. Strategic launch means promoting across your YouTube channel, email list, and even your social platforms, then amplifying this effect with paid ads in the first few weeks. This creates algorithmic momentum. Most creators hit launch and hope. The smart creators engineer the launch. Here's why this matters more than ever. YouTubers who are operating like media companies aren't just getting premium sponsors, they are upselling their existing YouTube sponsors. Think about it. If you already have the sponsor paying for YouTube views, you just go back and say, we are launching on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and more. You're giving them more of the audience that they already trust. That's not a new deal, that's simply an upsell. And this opportunity is only available before it gets crowded, before everyone starts implementing this. In 12 to 18 months, every creator will pitch podcasts. You'll either be competing with them or already winning. I help YouTubers turn their channels into revenue producing podcasts. More than 75 channels, 12 million collective downloads, and $350,000 in additional revenue. Whether you're dependent on AdSense, selling products, and want more high intent buyers, or have a podcast that isn't growing, I made a free breakdown that walks you through the entire podcast profit engine. How we turn YouTube videos into monetized podcasts, the infrastructure, and the upside your channel could potentially benefit from. A kind I wish I had 3 years ago. It's the first link in the description. See you there.